Welcome to this week's edition of Sports Drips. So the focus this week is basketball. We're going to look at some of the basketball gear, the sneakers, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Nike Bulls jersey, given to me by NBA SA. Thank you, Pavel and team. So let's look at some of the sneakers that really set the trend, and especially on the streets where basketball sneakers is huge. With Jordan's being the most sold sneaker in the world, and I think this year they launched the Jordan Dio, which sells for around 150, 170,000 rand. Um, so I'm going through some of the sneakers in my collection and just the basketball ones. And let's go back to the first. I don't know if you guys ever watched basketball in the early 80s or early 70s, where I always saw guys wearing Chuck Taylors, classic South African. I don't think any South African doesn't have a pair of Chuck Taylors. This is South African street culture, but originally the Chuck Taylor was made for basketball. Some of the nice positions in my collection, I've got a Adidas Pro model, which also late 70s, early 80s, um, with the turtle toe and the high boot, which was most probably for ankle support. If you notice, most of the basketball, lots of side to side movements, and the ankle support is very vital. Um, I have a pair of Adidas Crazy 8s here um, with the Prime Net. This is a quite a latest one, but with an old school design, remodeled by Adidas. I've got my Reebok Kamikaze, all black. I don't know if you guys remember, but this used to be dripped by one of the greatest basketball players, Shaquille O'Neal, back in the 90s. And then some of my prized Jordans. I've got a Jordan 4 Grand Prix Blue. These are one of the classics, one of my favorites. I've got a Flight Club 91 Grape. Um, these I have for over 10 years in my collection, and still one of my favorites. And I have a Jordan 6 Retro here. These came back now in 2020 and still very much a classic. I've also got a Fila Spaghetti. I don't know if you guys can remember, but Grant Hill used to drip these back in the day. And then I have something that we haven't seen in South Africa for a long time, a Patrick Ewing Rogue. This is the Patrick Ewing Rogue, Jamaica colors with the Jamaican flag at the back and the 33 sign. So, yeah. So basketball sneakers is a big sale across South Africa. Even though we don't even have professional basketball, the basketball that we see in South Africa is very below par standard. But with the NBA Africa team pushing and having some huge clinics around the country, I think basketball will still grow. In the 90s, we had some great basketball at schools. I don't know if you guys remember, I went to one of the local schools where Sprite put up basketball hoops all over the show. And I'm sure the game will grow with the NBA Africa office being in South Africa this year.